everyone, I am Tara. I'm here at UV and Circ. I'm an instructor here for the last, I think 7 or 8 years. But today we are here in the studio with my lovely student Anna. And we're gonna ask some questions today, kind of figure out who you are, where did you come from, why are you here? I mean, I see you so often in class, and I don't get a chance to talk to my students too often and really hear about their journey. So I'm really, really curious about you as a person and what brought you to pole and what brought you to the studio as well. So how did you start pole?
Well, I started pole about 1.5 years ago after going to a bachelorette party where we did like burlesque, which is obviously not the same thing, but I was doing it and I was like, oh, I kind of like being sexy for other people. I should look into this, and then I Googled things, and turns out the studio is about a 10-minute walk from my house. So I was like, let me just see, and basically I just haven't stopped coming since.
You joined UV about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah, I think July 2023, 2022, whatever that was, 2022.
I can't believe it's been that long already.
It's been a long time, but it feels like yesterday.
It does. I know. I mean, I remember the first couple of classes that you took with me.
Yeah, your classes were the first exploration of heels that I did. The first day that I put on heels, I showed up to your class for the first time.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
There were many claps.
There
are always many claps in class when people bring their heels for the first time.
It's so nice. It was so lovely to explore it in that atmosphere specifically. So that's what brought me to class, basically.
It's amazing. An exploration of
Yeah.
your own sexiness and your own desire to express that sexiness and a curiosity.
Absolutely.
What has been one of your best accomplishments or one of your greatest accomplishments in the last 1.5 years?
Well, we all remember the day that I got over my fear of inverts,
Yes.
because I couldn't stop talking about it. But that was definitely a key accomplishment for me, because as soon as you're not afraid of going upside down, you immediately, just your entire life changes, because now you have that entire ability. It's ridiculous. It's still weird to me that I do them for fun now, but that was my biggest accomplishment. And of course the showcases too. So lovely to just step outside of your comfort zone in that way and perform for an audience and show your true feelings, and it is truly incredible.
Let's talk about the showcase, because that was my first time seeing you perform.
It was everyone's first time.
It was everyone's first time. I get glimpses of people in class and whatnot, but to actually see you take center stage, what was that like for you to actually take the journey to the center stage?
To the center stage. Well, I feel like I had such big feelings to work out that time around, and I really wanted to get over them. So I was like, let me just perform them for an audience, leave them all on the dance floor, and hopefully move on. I did, by the way, move on. But putting together that choreo was so special to me because I practiced so much, and trying to have a flow for it was insane. But I don't remember any of it. I blacked out.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, every time I'm on stage, I black out immediately, or I'm not as good of a performer. I don't know how it works. Because otherwise I get way in my head, and I'm like, how does this move work? But if I black out, it just kind of happens, and you're like, okay, cool, it happened, I guess. I'll watch the video later.
So what happened? Not sure. We'll watch later.
It felt good. I guess we're okay. Yeah, it feels good, so it doesn't matter what happens out there. But I think just going through.
Yeah, our third audience is or our third participant is the wind today.
Yeah.
Don't mind it.
Let's give it a second.
And okay, I'll quiet down now.
Nice. So putting together that choreo was just so special, because it was a favorite song of mine, and everything was just so perfect. I loved it so much.
What was your process in creating your choreo?
Well, first was the song, because for me the song always comes first. I think for me, like, everything depends on the song. Like, that's how I am in my job. Like, I'm an editor, so like that's how everything kind of comes together. Is like you choose a song and then you go from there. But once I heard the song, once I like settled on it, I immediately had a moment where like there were like so many things in the lyrics that you could do that I started thinking, like, how could I like incorporate this? How can I incorporate that? Like, how can I like make it a story? So that was my process with it. Is like I really wanted it to be a piece.
Right.
Like, it sounds so pretentious. Like, I really wanted it to be a piece. My first showcase, you know.
It's an important piece.
It is. It was just something that I really wanted to put together, and I wouldn't stop until it happened. And then like it magically came together in the last couple of weeks, basically.
How did you know that like that movement was that kind of like you're putting together a choreo and you're doing something and you have a moment where like, okay, I want to put that there. How did you know that what you were doing was right and felt good?
I think just instinct most of the time, like trying to see what goes with the music. I really just let kind of, you know, the music tell me what to do, even if like, you know, things weren't like necessarily up on my level. Like I did this like drop in the end where as I started, as I started it, I wasn't sure that I could be able to do it, but I was like, you know what, I have a month, like I can figure it out. It's gonna be fine. And then like I was really set on doing it because it just went so well with the music that I just needed to do a drop. So I just kind of figured it out from there, you know, like you put together a choreo and then you figure it out.
It's really interesting how the music can just take you to a place that it's like, where am I gonna go from here?
Absolutely, which is why I think like one of my biggest challenges is like dancing to a different song than what I had in mind, or like choosing a different song afterwards. Because like, you know, we danced to Sex With Me on Tuesday, and it wasn't on Instagram.
I hate that.
I hate that
so much.
So I had to figure out a whole different song, and I'm like, well, this isn't the same at all. The mood isn't the same. This is not what I was trying to convey with this. So it was so frustrating.
Speaking of your Instagram and you know what's on your Instagram, there is an iconic moment. I replay this in my head often. I look back at it often. And I'm like, this is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Truly.
Thank you.
In all of my years, I'm like, that just happened.
It was really cool. I mean, it was by no means an original idea to do that, but it was still so fun to do.
It was an erotic XXX new class on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Sorry, 10 p.m. And Anna decided that with her fishnet, she was going to rip them. And she did it in a way that was just, like, it leaves me speechless. This was my face when I'm watching that video. I could not. I still can't.
I know. I can't believe it happened either, to be honest. But it was just so beautiful to destroy something. Like, it was so, like, you know, they started ripping a bit, and I was like, oh, well, like, I have a last run in front of me. Like, I don't want to, like, just be a little bit cautious of this, like, weird rip in my tights. So I'm just gonna fucking go for it. See what happens. And it was so liberating. Like, it released so much of my aggression.
Yes. The rage.
The rage, it just came out of me. And the ripping the tights just felt right.
Well, what I liked about it was the experimentation. You know, and a lot of what we do in you know, our flow classes on Tuesdays about experimenting. So it was just that raw, authentic, vulnerable, in the moment, present, like, expression of self, and it really came through. And so that's why I personally love it. It's just like such an example of being in the moment and going with it. So that's something that I really appreciate about like your own personal style that you're doing. And
interestingly, I did black out during that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
As soon as I black out, you know it's gonna be a good time.
What have been what have been some of your challenges though, as you've been going through the last year and a half?
I think my biggest challenge is like I'm not able to do tricks with as much ease as like some other people are able to do it, just because I've never been a sporty person, and like doing like conditioning and stuff is very hard for me. It's just like I don't find that comes as easy to me as just like dancing it out and like doing all of that stuff and like shaking my ass. So that's been kind of like the hardest part of it. Just like trying to gain the strength to be able to do the tricks and to be able to do them well and to be able to like do things afterwards.
Right.
Which is also like an insane part about it. Like you can't just like do a trick and then you're like, oh, goodbye now. I'm good. Yeah.
This is it. This is what I'm doing.
There's like a whole other part of the song coming up when you still have to do all of that. So I think that has been definitely the biggest challenge. And recently I've just been really trying to pay attention to my hands.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's not easy because I feel like it's getting worse before it gets better.
Oh, tell me how this is happening for you.
So before it was like paddle hands and like
Okay.
they weren't really moving and like whatever, but now they're moving, but they're like flailing and they're doing things that I'm like not comfortable with, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Well, it's interesting that your movement went from like here, which is very like tucked, to more open. So this in itself is already some sort of progress here.
I think
At
it's like
least when
step
I look
one,
at
and then
it.
it's just like, now we gotta make it look pretty instead of
Yeah.
just, you know,
This
it's so wobbly. Like,
maybe this is it. Maybe we just have to do a few wobbles and see what happens.
honestly, that was kind of freeing.
We'll bring wobbling in.
Please.
Let's see how
Everyone
we can
dresses an
wobble.
inflatable tube, man.
Let's be sexy and inflatable too. How can we wobble with the music?
The T-Rex hand is my biggest nemesis too. I often like find that I think I did a lot worse than I actually did. Yeah. So like watching it back, you're like, oh, that was it was still kind of hot. Like it's fine. It doesn't have to be always perfect, I think. So as long as it's fun, as long as everyone's having fun.
Everybody's having a good time, and we certainly have a good time with us.
Yeah.
At least I
That's also always my motto for like being on stage. Is like, if you're gonna have fun out there, everyone else is gonna have fun watching you, and like nobody's gonna be able to tell if you screwed up your technique or whatever.
Is fun, would you say fun is part of your personal style?
I think so. I think it has to be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll be very serious. Because I'm Russian, so I like, by nature, I'm very serious.
So fun, and then what are two other adjectives that you would give as your own, in your own personal style?
I think fun, explorative, curious. Because I always feel like it's changing a lot.
Yeah.
Like I started loving heel claps and I still do, but they just don't resonate in my body as much anymore. So I prefer like glides and like that sort of noise. So I think it's ever changing.
Yeah.
Which is the best part about pole.
And that is truly one of the greatest things, is like, as long as you can continue to be curious, you're never gonna get bored. It's like, personally, my style has changed so many times throughout the last 14 years. I'm just getting old.
You're getting
I'm
experience.
getting so experienced. It used to be like very strength-based tricks. I could do all of the strong things, and then it turned into, let me try flexibility out, incorporating strength and flexibility, and then much more down the line, I actually started dancing. I was like, I should probably start dancing. And it was a very strange process for me to just be so influenced by tricks to go into dancing. So I think that if you can adopt a lens of curiosity and just like, what are these things that I can try out? And like, how does it fit? Does it fit with me? Like, you'll always have something to do in pole.
Absolutely.
Endlessly possible. Like, the possibilities are endless. What are your like things that you're curious about, or that are influencing?
I think
you?
currently I'm very like low flow, edge worky, like slinky type things is what I'm working on. I'm really trying to make it a cohesive flow more than anything. So tricks have kind of like, I'm still trying to do them. I'm trying my best to do them, but they kind of took a little bit of a backseat to like flexibility and just being next to your pole and like trying not to hold on to it for dear life and just like, using it as an apparatus that helps you more than something that like holds you.
Yes. Well, I always say that the pole is our number one supportive partner. It's always there for us.
It's always there.
If you were going to say something that is your next 1 to 2 year aspiration or goal, what would it be to stand off here?
I think I really want to put a performance that's more tricks based and less like leg work, because I do tend to like, you know, and I love leg work. It's my favorite thing in the world, but I feel like I kind of resort to it as a crutch a lot of the time. So I kind of want to put together something that's more strength based. So maybe in like 6 months or something, I'll try to do that stuff.
Okay.
You know, I gotta give myself time to like become, you know, a jock all of a sudden.
Yes.
Just immediately become strong tomorrow. So I think that's...
It's called coffee.
Yeah, honestly. I want to go back to like heel clocky type things more, because I feel like that really resonated in my body at first, and now because I'm so focused on being flowy, it's hard for me to combine those two. I know it's possible, but I think it's kind of like hard to go from one to the other in a moment. And more pole clothing.
And more pole, yes. Yes, we need more pole clothing.
More pole clothing.
Okay, so it's returning back to more claps and flows and strength-based tricks and how to dance those tricks is what I'm hearing. Okay.
And to be fair, like every Tuesday is basically my own little showcase. Like for nobody, but for me.
Literally, I'm so happy you said that. That's the point of the class. It's like, let it be a showcase for yourself. Yes.
It's just so beautiful. Thank you for bringing that energy here. Like honestly, like you know how I tell you every single class I make, every single class I show up and I'm like, Tara, thank you for this.
So happy you all like it. It's my pride and joy. It's like truly an honor to have you in class each and every week for literally the last year and a half.
Who would have thought?
I think that you've missed like a few
maybe
weeks,
5,
like in that year and a half. It was wild. So yeah, you were a pivotal part in that, in seeing how that class has grown and seeing how erotic has grown. So thank you for that.
It is a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah. To another year and a half more, to another 5,
to another lifetime.
How many? You don't have a coffee, but
I don't have a coffee.
Thank you for coming and chatting with me and just letting me know a little bit more about you. It's lovely to hear how you've grown, how you found the studio and what your goals are. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much, Tara. Like you've truly been like such an integral part of my pole journey. You know, it just makes me warm and fuzzy.
I'm bashful. She's bashful.